Hello, Internet. Welcome to another Morgan podcasting live production, at least live for those of you who might be joining us right now on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch. Perhaps you were checking this out later, and that is fine with us as well on YouTube, all the same platforms we mentioned. Or maybe you're just listening. Maybe you're an old school podcast person. You don't need all this newfangled video. You just like listening to it while you're out doing what you're doing. All we ask is that you give us a like, a comment, a follow, tell a friend. That's all we need. It's free. We're about to bring you wonderful entertainment here. We're going to do some football chatter. We're going to do some wrestling chatter. And joining me to help do all of those things, and the man who puts us on video, the man who puts us on audio, he's the executive producer of this podcast, and you'll see us hosting chops in the second half. He's Jimmy Jamriska. Jimmy, hello.
Rod, I'm so excited to podcast today. I am all about talking about football. It's great. I love football.
Yes, Jimmy. I know. Listen, I can't help but think maybe I'm a bit of a bad dark cloud. We will get to that soon. Speaking of dark clouds, no, I didn't just make that transition to our good friend down there in central Indiana, Chris King. Chris, hello. Chris, did I just do that to you? I apologize. I didn't mean to do that to you. It's just how it worked out.
You definitely meant to do that to me. And you're just mad because your OG fandom, the Colts, won their week 1 opener, where your new team, the Bears, well, they do what the Bears do best, lose.
I'm excited for my fellow Colts fans because I am still a Colt fan. It was exciting for all of the Colts fans out there. The man who was watching all of the games in Williams headquarters, I imagine like 13 different screens up on the wall, and he's going back and forth between Red Zone and this game and Sunday Ticket and all the above, and he's jotting things down so that he can make the plays for you. He's our guy, Josh Williams. Josh, hello.
What's up, boys? A little bit of a rough week 1. Got out to an 0-1 against a spread start. The Giants decided to not show up at all. So only thing that basically went well for me was Survivor, and that I had to get bailed out by a 60-yard Chris Boswell field goal. So let's get back on track here.
Everything's completely normal. There's nothing unnormal about any of those things. Those things all happen in their everyday daily occurrences. Speaking of daily occurrences, something we like to do around here is start with a quick cold open question to warm the boys up, to get the juices flowing, to hopefully bring about a little bit of hilarity. And my question to all of you is this, and Chris, we'll start with you this week. What is the most you think you've ever accomplished in a little over 12 minutes?
The most I've ever accomplished in 12 minutes? Ooh. Boy, I don't know, because I'm trying to think of something I actually was able to accomplish in 12 minutes, let alone the best.
That's what I mean, right? Because 12 minutes is really not a huge amount of time, right? So it's kind of like, it was just something that struck me today. Like, if I was forced to say what was the most productive or the best thing I ever did that only took me 12 minutes, what would it be?
I mean, maybe changing a tire on the side of the road. I think I've been able to get that done in about 12 minutes. Past that, I'd be going back to school, Rod, like 80 years ago when I had homework assignments and I was doing something right before class and got that 2-page paper done in 12 minutes or something.
Oh, I love that. All right, I love that. Listen, the tire, I really dig that, because if you can change a tire in as quick as 12 minutes like that, you were changing your path, right? Like you were here and things looked to be on one course, and then quickly within 12 minutes, you changed and went back the other. But I dig the, oh my God, it's passing periods. Let me run to my next class, sit down and bang out this assignment right now. I absolutely love that. That's a great answer there. Jimmy Jamriska, what's the most or what's the best you've ever been in just a little over 12 minutes?
I'm gonna go to my CrossFit days and 12-minute AMRAP in CrossFit, where you have to do 50 sit-ups and 200 jump ropes and pull-ups and things like that in 12 minutes. I think that's probably the most I've done in that certain amount of time.
Nice. Look at that. Pulling out physical fitness in over 12 minutes, making the body a temple, if you will, in just a little over 12 minutes.
Pray to me, Rod. Pray to me.
That's right. Listen, there's certainly no chance that that's going to be my answer, Jimmy. I mean, you know that. You've known me long enough to know there ain't no chance I've ever done anything CrossFit like. Williams, how about you? You've had a little time to think about it here. What's the most you've ever done in just a little over 12 minutes?
I'm going to go back to when I won the Elks free throw shooting competition back in the 3rd grade in Colorado. Shout out Hoff Tigers Elementary. Hit 22 out of 25 to advance to the regionals, and we will not discuss what happened in the regionals. So, yes.
Listen, productive can mean lots of different things. I didn't say you had to win a championship in that time. This was all your own 12 minutes. And for me, I would have to say the most productive I've ever been in a 12-minute span of time is when I was on the speech team back in my high school days as well, right? And if you would combine all of the different rounds that made up radio, the one event that I did the best, it equals about 4.5 to 5 minutes of time, probably. But so competing in all of those rounds and winning a regional championship my junior year, taking home the big trophy, taking home the big plaque, and it only took me about 5 minutes to do it. That has to be the most productive that I have ever been in 12 minutes. Jimmy, do you think there's any particular reason why I was asking this question about doing something in just a little over 12 minutes?
I'm not going to lie, Rod. I'm not going to lie. I had no idea where this was going until you went to Williams. For some reason, I'm like, oh, he's going to talk about JJ McCarthy, what he did in 12 minutes and the Vikings, because what they did in 12 minutes is destroy a fan base again.
Yeah, Jimmy, I mean, what is it about that week 1 loss that feels so big right now, right? Because I'm with you. Out of all the week 1 losses, everybody seems to be talking about the Bears. Everybody seems to be talking about Caleb Williams. Everybody seems to be talking about Mr. Johnson, our Lord and Savior. I'm sure Williams is going to be able to ring in there. Is that just because it was on Monday night, or do you think there's something else at play here?
No, there's something else at play. It's the Bears being the Bears. It is. We've seen this before. The stupid mistakes, the quarterback that we think is going to be great and just misses some throws. You know, people are getting on the coach, and at some point the quarterback's got to throw the ball to his receivers that are open. Okay. Williams came out and went, 16 for 16, unbelievable start to the game, but then you couldn't finish things out. We had stupid penalties, even though some of them probably shouldn't have been called, but whatever. We are worried right now. Now, listen, I picked the Vikings to win this game. I didn't think the Bears were going to win, but seeing JJ McCarthy go from me being quarterback in the first half to an all-pro in the second half just like blew all of our minds that they were able to change that quickly, Rod.
All right, that's great. We'll go to Williams for the football analysis here in a second, but let's go to Chris for the important part of this. Chris likes nothing more than needling me, finding a reason to give me guff. Chris, am I to blame? Should Bear fans be bringing their anger to my doorstep because I have joined up their bandwagon this year, and immediately in week 1, it looks as if the Bears are still the Bears?
There's nothing that I would love more to say that this is just some karma for you jumping ship and being a fair weather fan. But like, let's be honest, that's not the reason why. The reason why is because there's been a whole lot of drama in the Bears organization that a lot may have been exposed this weekend, the day before this game. All right. So you have to assume that that's going to affect not just the player that expose is mostly about, but also the entire organization.
Yeah, Chris, you're big about culture. You speak about that an awful lot. It's one of those things that we non-players certainly cannot understand, right? The culture of a locker room and what it is to suit up with guys and go out on the field. So I don't know that we should even be talking about this, but we do have somebody who's pretty darn smart about football. And I know he played a little bit at high school at least, so that makes him more of a player than me. Mr. Williams, what do you see in your Bears? As just, I know you're a fan, but I know you're also going to look at it, as objectively as you can for your plays moving forward.
Yeah, first of all, we need a kicker. Cairo Santos is not the answer. He lost the Packers game for us a couple years ago, and now he can't kick a 50-yard field goal, and he can't kick it out of bounds when we need him to. So that rant is done. So you know how I feel about the kickers. Yeah, Jimmy's right. The first 15 scripted plays, and I emphasize scripted, from Ben Johnson looked great. Caleb was calm in the pocket. But he needs to trust Ben Johnson more. Overall, he was not great, but tough week 1 D to go up against facing Flores. and all the blitzes that he comes with, especially attacking our tackles. I think that was key. But all the pre-snap motion penalties have got to stop, and a lot of that's on Caleb. He's not great at motioning wide receivers. We saw that on the last play of the game with a Hail Mary, or what was going to be a Hail Mary, or maybe a pitch and ladder, hook and ladder. So that's got to get cleaned up. It will be interesting to see if Ben Johnson leans more towards mass protection against his former team this week. One, obviously for more time in the pocket, but two, more people in the pocket clogs up running lanes for dissuading Caleb from taking off. And then three, less guys on the route, I feel actually helps Caleb. This simplifies things, which I think he plays better when he doesn't try to do too much. When you think about the two best drives the Bears had last night, it was the first drive when it was scripted plays, and it was the last drive when Caleb wasn't thinking. He was just out there playing. So everything in between was not great. I will say it was not great. But hey, I'm much higher on this Vikings team than most people are. And Rod, you're right. It was like the sky is falling for the Bears, which I knew if they lost this game, it would happen. I was with Jimmy. I thought this was a toss-up game. I thought this was going to be like a 3-point game either way. And the Bears really controlled the game for the first 3 quarters. But just because they controlled the game for the first 3 quarters, they need to do better. And it's going to be tough because we're going to go into Detroit, and they're going to want to beat Ben Johnson, and they're all pissed off for how bad they looked against Green Bay last week. So yeah, not a great start for the Bears.
Williams, I love that you went there, right? We're not gonna try to spin it forward too much here, but Lions v Bears week 2. I mean, this is a huge week 2 game. I mean, these are two teams that are gonna feel in a really, really bad way if they lose here. Chris, you're the Lions guy here on this podcast. What's your thoughts on the Lions coming out of week 1 going in this game versus the Bears?
I think you're going to see a bigger emphasis in opening up that offense. I think they let Green Bay kind of dictate too much of what was going on when Detroit had the ball. So instead of being reactionary, I think you're going to see a little bit more proactive offense out of Detroit. And I would not want to play Detroit this week coming off of this loss to Green Bay. Not at all.
Well, let's stick with Green Bay here real quick as well, because that was a big story in the NFL as we were coming into week 1. Jimmy, you were terrified of what that one guy might be able to do to your Bears, and I think we kind of saw it. He only played 30-some plays, but he had a sack, he had some hurries, he had an interception force. Like, he was a force out there.
Yeah, I think it was 29 plays, and he had 5 plays where he did something big, and he's not ready to go yet. So, yes, very worried about that. Jordan Love played very well. He did throw a couple of questionable balls at the end, I think. But other than that, listen, they handled the Lions, and they kind of did what I thought they were going to do. They're going to be a solid team, Rod. I think that pick for them to win the NFC is pretty good right now.
Yeah, I certainly feel good about a few things that I said there coming out of week 1. Chris, you mentioned my fandom that I supposedly have jumped ship. I have not jumped ship. I still am a Colts fan. I still consider myself a Colts fan. I will be attending a game in person later this year, thanks to our good friend Dax Storm. I have Colts gear here in the background, but I will admit, I did not watch that game. I was not excited to watch that game. Did not watch a second of that game. So, Chris, you'll have to fill me in on the Colts, because apparently they look pretty good.
Yeah, they did. We played some defense, Rod, but I don't even think I should tell you about it if you're not going to even watch the game. Like, that's the local game that would have been on your TV. So the fact that you didn't watch it means you chose to watch something else.
Hey, Rod, let me tell you about this, Rod, because my face of the week is Danny Dimes. Scored on every possession they had, 22 of 29, 272 yards with a touchdown, ran 7 for 26 and had 2 touchdowns. The Colts are going to Super Bowl.
Face, that's right, Jimmy. Jimmy is going to bring you a face and a heel of the week every week. That is a solid segment. Fans know that one. That one's been with us over the years. Chris has a new one cooked up that will happen for us. Williams has picks that he's going to make. We got our survivor pick we got to make later. We got to update you on the wins pool. We are going to have lots and lots of fun. I got off my chest a couple of things I wanted to talk about off the top. Williams, what's the big thing you saw coming out of week 1 before we get to your picks?
Well, I just wanted to follow up on your Colts, Rod. The Colts had 43 plays in the first half. The Dolphins had 43 yards in the first half. And I thought that these two teams, it was ironic that these two teams, the schedule makers had them playing against each other, because I thought they were the two most highly variant teams on the season. And one pro for the Colts going into this year was, I think the defense could be a lot better than what we had with the Colts in previous years because of Gus Bradley. Gus Bradley just was not a aggressive defensive coordinator. And this was the first team since 1977 to score on every single drive. So the Colts had very long sustained drives. Now that stat is a little misleading because there's been some teams that have scored a lot and then have taken a kneel down at the end of the half or end of the games. That didn't happen with the Colts, but still, just for the Indianapolis Colts to score on all 7 drives was awesome. We'll have to see how it plays over with. I mean, Miami might be historically bad. Tyreek is still in the news today for another bad thing. So Miami just might be a train wreck, but the Colts might actually be good. Like, two things can actually be true at the same time. So we'll see how the Colts. I want to see how the Colts play this week against a really good defense. Danny Dimes has had problems with pressure when he gets pressured in the pocket in his past. And nobody is going to bring more pressure than the Denver Broncos. So, but I was impressed with what I saw from the Colts.
Listen, that's wonderful. I'm not going to let Chris paint me into a corner of saying that I'm anti-Colts and that I'm wishing for the Colts to fail this year, right? That is not the point that I made. People that listen to the podcast understand what I was talking about.
People who listen to the podcast remember you pontificating about jumping onto the Bears. All hail Ben Johnson. That's what we heard.
Because it's exciting. They seem to have a plan. They seem to have young guys ready to try to do something. The Colts are going nowhere with Danny Dimes. But listen, I'm eating my words.
Lord and Savior Ben
Jimmy,
Johnson,
who would have had you picking Danny Dimes as face of the week? Come on, who would have had that? I mean, Williams, you're an odds guy. The odds of that at the beginning of the year, come on, that'd be like 500-1.
Rod, you're not thinking third dimensionally. This is the first year in the last 3 years I have not had season tickets to the Colts. Of course they're going to be good. You got to think about this, guys.
Third dimensionally, Jimmy, you're so right. I'm sorry I didn't go third dimensionally. All right, and now that there's only one other team that we touch on this podcast. And Chris, I gotta say what Williams just did there. He propped up the Colts a little bit. I was impressed by your Cowboys. They showed a lot more fight than I thought they were going to show. Dak Prescott impressed me again, showing me that, hey, people sometimes want to put the guy down, and he does have a tendency to get hurt. And I'm not sure that that's really his fault, but when he's out there and he's got guys, he's going to do some things.
Yeah, the offense has talent, right? Part of me wonders was this better at a Dallas team than what most people thought, or is this just the Eagles regressing back to average a little bit? Because I don't know necessarily. I will say one thing, though. The Cowboys look like a more composed and disciplined team that night than the Eagles did. We only had 4 penalties. That is not typical of the Cowboys in game 1 of the NFL season. So I saw a whole bunch of positives, even though we lost.
Sorry about that. That's on me. That's my phone alert. The Indiana Fever, I believe, just won. I got an alert on my phone. Because, yeah, that's right. I get notifications about Fever games. I'm down for the WNBA. Man, I lost my train of thought there. I was going to I know where I was going to go. I had a great transition here. Chris was talking about some judgment calls, some things that went right. Williams, I know you had some thoughts about some coaching calls that maybe didn't go so right. And this is going to be hopefully a recurring segment, folks. I think we're going to have enough bad coaching decisions, and our guy Williams hones in on them, that we're going to be able to have Williams talks to a coach and says, "Are you serious?" We bring it to you now.
Yeah. I mean, this continues to just baffle me how bad these coaches are. Let's start off, and these are good coaches this week, guys, except for one of them. We'll get to that in a second. But how about Mike McDonald, not Mike McDaniel? You can throw Mike McDaniel in this group just with the Dolphins not being
based on his press conference. His press conference at the end of that game was weird.
It was weird. But I'm going to go Mike McDonald in Seattle, not going for it on 4th and 1 late in that game. He said it in the presser. The model said to go for it. Great. Glad we have the model. Let's just punt. Okay. San Francisco goes down and wins. How about Mike Vrabel? Mike Vrabel makes me look like an idiot. I give out Travion Henderson Rookie of the Year. He gets 5 carries against the Raiders. 5? He gained over 5 yards per carry. They were down by 10 late in that game in the fourth quarter, and they punted. I think Vrabel is an awesome coach, but like his weakness is like punting on fourth downs right around midfield when down by between 7 and 10 points late in games. It's like, what are you doing?
Hold on a second there, Williams. Jimmy, you know how we always talk about in the NBA? Yeah. Jimmy, you know how we always talk about in the NBA that a team, you're a year too early? I think possibly everybody that was a little excited about this Patriots team might have been a year too early, right? I don't think we were taking into account, myself included, that they had to cycle out so many players, and we have just a complete new system and like a whole new core of guys coming in there that like 6 to 7 wins out of New England is actually going to be an improvement. And I think maybe I was getting a little over my skis there, which is sad because I don't really wish good things for the Patriots.
Well, and the thing is too, like 6 or 7 wins for the Patriots is good. Like, we can't just go from winning 3 games to an NFC championship game in 1 year. Let's build something here. Okay. Calm down, New England. You've had your run.
That's great. Listen, Jimmy is on the rants today. Williams, continue with other bad coaching calls.
Yeah, how about Brian Callahan and all his Callahan parts for the Titans? First off, at the end of the half, you're backed up at your own 6-yard line. There's 55 seconds left in the half. You're leading with a rookie quarterback on the road versus one of the best defenses in the league. What are you doing going pass there? Denver gets the ball back, takes the lead before the half. But worse than that was Callahan didn't challenge a catch in the second half because he said in his presser again that he didn't think one elbow equaled 2 feet down. You cannot make this up. He doesn't know that you don't have to get 2 feet down to catch the ball or a knee down or elbow. He doesn't know what the catch rule is. Like, I can't believe he actually said that in the presser. And then the worst, I thought, of the whole week, and I'm usually very pro this guy, I thought John Harbaugh did a terrible job of coaching. I thought this was his worst coaching job I've ever seen from him. The prevent D at the end of the half, I mean, he just took a page out of Sean McDermott when the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs when they let the Travis Kelce get into field goal range and Buffalo blew that AFC Championship game. I don't know what he was doing there at the end of the half. You have to guard the sideline there. And then 4th and 2 with the ball, you don't go for it at the end of the game. You have Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, the best quarterback running back duo the NFL has ever seen, and you don't go for it on 4th. You're not up by 4. You're not even up by 3. You're up by 2, and you punt the ball back to Josh Allen, who you've not been able to stop all game. What in the world is going on with the analytics? And he has an analytics guy. And Mike McDonald has a model. I'm just not going to go with the model. What is going on with these coaches? They're terrible week 1. Terrible.
Harbaugh, you know what the thing with Harbaugh is, man? Like, if Baltimore doesn't do it this year, it might be Harbaugh's the guy who's got to go, right? Because you're not going to get rid of Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean? Like, we're invested in Derrick Henry at this point. You know, the Ravens they're leveraged up to the hill with a guy who is out. Chris, were you impressed the most by the Bills, or was there another team out there that impressed you the most in week 1?
I would have to say the Bills probably did impress me because I think that was not just a big-time comeback, 15 points in 7 minutes of game time, right? It's not just impressive to do that against anybody. The fact that they did this against an AFC contender, right? This is a Ravens team that is a contender for going to the Super Bowl. So the fact that Bills were able to do this was pretty phenomenal. You got to give it to Minnesota. They came back against odds too. So that was also pretty impressive. That was JJ McCarthy coming out essentially his first game and stepping into his own in that second half. But I still think I got to go with Buffalo.
All right. Well, Chris was a little impressed with Buffalo's winning, but every week he's going to tell you something else that he's impressed with. He is going to induct people into his Leatherheads team. Chris, who made the Leatherheads team week 1?
All right. We mentioned this guy's name who won it, but there's a couple guys I wanted to give some honorable mentions to. All right. I'm going to start with a guy from Denver. That was Taloa Noah. Oh, I know I butchered that. Hufanga, right? New guy for Denver. Safety came out, 10 tackles, forced a fumble that helped them seal the game. A rookie for our Indianapolis Colts, Tyler Warren. All right, not only did this guy catch 7 passes on 9 targets, he lined up as fullback and got a first down conversion when we really needed it. He had a PFF score of 88.6 on run blocking. All right, that is exactly what the Colts needed. Their whole offensive line was almost a unit nominated as this. But
we're doing the research for Leatherhead of the Week, getting in on the PFF grades. Let's go.
Tyler Warren was impressive. But this is a guy who not just has shown what kind of a player he is over his career, but this guy just did something that matched what one of the toughest players in the NFL has ever seen. I'm talking about Jim Brown. When you want to talk about a tough NFL player, you got to think about Jim Brown. And this player did something this week that no one else but Jim Brown has done. I'm talking about Derrick Henry tying Jim Brown on NFL games, rushing over 150 yards with 2 rushing touchdowns. When you are able to accomplish something that no one else but Jim Brown has done, that's a hard-nosed football player. That's my Leatherhead of the Week.
Look out, Derrick Henry making Leatherhead of the Week. We should probably contact the Henry camp and let him know that he won Leatherhead of Week 1, because I'm sure he's probably disappointed about that ball that he laid on the carpet near the end of the game that probably didn't help his Ravens out an awful lot. But hey, consolation prize. You're Chris's Leatherhead of Week 1. Jimmy, I'm impressed with the Leatherhead segment there. Chris brought it.
I like that a lot, Chris. You did research, fantastic. Speaking of leatherheads, this kind of goes into the knucklehead of the week, if you will, or the heel of the week. Transitioning is my forte.
Look at you.
It took all of 6 seconds for us to get the heel of the week with Jalen Carter spitting on Dak Prescott within 6 seconds of the game starting and getting thrown out. Eagles fans, that's on me. All right, I picked them first overall in the wins league. I thought it was over. I thought Eagles were going to not win a game. They ended up winning because, well, it's the Cowboys, let's be honest. But I cannot believe that happened. And I don't know. He still may miss another game. We don't know yet.
Jimmy Jam, I love that. Chris had to dive deep into the research to get his Leatherheads, and you were off the hook 6 seconds into the NFL week. Just 6 seconds into the week, Jimmy's like, done, over, book it.
I'm going on break.
Over. Thank you very much. Yep, I'm going on break. Shout out to the Mitch Hedberg. All right, Williams, we have gotten through. All right, you know what? Before we get your picks, let's update our contests around here. Jimmy Jam, let's go to you for the official numbers on the Wins League Week 1.
Sure. Wins League Week 1, pretty easy. We each have 4 wins. Excellent job, everybody. Of our 8, we had 4, which kind of mathematically works out. So everyone is in first place. Williams, you are not the reigning defending. You are not in first place all by yourself.
Hey, I'm just glad after the Ravens blew that game that I'm not in second place. I'll take a tie for first here. So
if you were in second place, we would have ended the competition. It would have been done.
Yeah. Early count
over.
And then we have a new competition, the Survivor Pool this week, where Chris is out already. Chris, you're done. Out 1 week and done.
That's what I get for picking the Pats. All right.
You picked the Patriots of all teams.
I picked the Patriots because I bought into the Raiders suck and Vrabel's a good coach. Apparently, I was wrong on both counts. That's what I get.
Yeah, you were wrong on both counts for sure. So to keep this going, we're going to see how many times you can actually lose before one of us does. So Chris, don't worry, you'll still be in there. Williams, you picked the Steelers to win. You got lucky there. You're lucky the Jets jetted. Okay.
Yes.
I picked the Cardinals to win. I'm very lucky the Saints sainted. And then Rod picked the Broncos, and that was a close game. So Williams, Rod, and I kind of got our close games out of the way. Now it's going to be easy riding from now on, correct?
Oh, listen, I'm telling you what, I'm not going to give away the Survivor pick till Williams gives his at the end of his picks there, but I'm taking the easy one this week. All right. I'm going for boom, book it up, easy. I'm not going to think about it. Give me a top team going against a bad team, and we're just going to keep trying to move on. Since Chris is already out, I got to keep moving on.
Okay. So just for the record here, can we pick the same team?
I think we can.
That is allowed.
Yes.
But you can't pick the same team twice, obviously.
Yes. No.
Okay.
No, we can't. So all of us can't, right? We got to pick a different team, but like you can pick the same team I pick 1 week.
Correct. Yeah. So, and then we're going to do our picks after Williams gives all his picks.
Correct. Williams is going to do 2 of his picks, ATS, like he always does, and then he's going to give a Survivor pick, and then we'll make our Survivor pick, and we'll be going into wrestling at that point, Jimmy G. And we're doing all right on the schedule. I got to say, we're doing all right.
We're doing okay. Williams, it's all you, brother.
All right. How about game of the week? Maybe game of the year early on. Although it's going to be tough to pass up what happened with that Baltimore Buffalo game. Philly at Kansas City on Sunday afternoon. I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs +1 on MGM. This line started Philly -1.5. It has moved to KC -1.5 in some spots. So if you like KC, hop on MGM because you're going to get them at +1. Mahomes is 19-4 straight up in his career coming off a loss. By the way, Mahomes has been a full-time starter since 2018. So the Chiefs have lost 23 games in 7 years. That's insane. Only one time has that loss came against an NFC team, and that was Mahomes' first full year as a starter. Tough place to play up there in Seattle. This game this week is at home in another tough environment at Arrowhead. We get Philly coming off, I thought was a lackluster win. I think they've lost a ton on that defense. They lost, 10 guys, not all starters, but I was impressed with what Dallas did, especially against that secondary. I know Xavier Worthy is out. I know Rashee Rice is suspended. I'm going to have trust in Andy Reid and Patty Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Super Bowl revenge game also. You're getting a little bit of extended rest here. I know Philly has extended rest also, but we know how good Andy Reid is off extended rest. Yes, please give me the Chiefs are getting points here. I cannot believe this line. Give me the Chiefs.
I love that. Listen, sometimes you got to take what looks to be a line you can't believe. And like you said, the way the Chiefs have performed over the last couple of years for the Chiefs to be getting points, I love that pick, Williams.
Yeah, so the second game here, and I have not had much success on Monday Night Football, but we're going to take the Houston Texans -2.5 against your Tampa Bay Bucks, Rod. You're not going to like this breakdown here. And you can find that pretty much across the board. Believe this or not, the only two quarterbacks who had a turnover-worthy rate percentage higher than 10% were Tua, and believe it or not, yes, Baker Mayfield. Tampa won the game. The Falcons quarterbacks dropped a few picks, a couple fourth downs that went Tampa's way. If you look at the net success rate, the Bucs were one of the luckiest teams in week 1. The D still isn't that great. They have O-line issues, still banged up a wide receiver. The Texans O-line struggles with stunts, and that's what the Rams D-line does extremely well. I think Houston bounces back here and gets a W against Tampa on Monday night. And I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm not going to take the obvious pick in Survivor. I'm going to double down here. I think the Texans are my Survivor pick against Tampa Bay. I'm zigging when everybody else is zagging. I'm being risky. Let's go Texans. I think there's massive regression coming to this Tampa Bay team this year, and hopefully it hits on Monday Night Football.
Wow, Williams, you just put a stake right through my heart there. But I gotta say, the Bucs won that game, but I think the Bucs won that game thanks to Younghoe Koo, and Baker got away with a couple of plays there at the end of the game. He really did. But what I say is that's his guile, right? That's his moxie. You know what I mean? That's his leader. You know what I mean? Like all the cliches I could throw out about Baker Mayfield and wash that right away because all the guy does is win, right? He's like DJ Khaled that way. So we will just move on. Williams, that is a bold Survivor pick. Jimmy, I saw you down there. You're surprised as I am about that one, huh?
I thought about taking the Bucs in my Survivor. So yes, I think that I'm worried about CJ Stroud because when you trade your left tackle, that's never a good thing. He's got one of his huge wide receivers is out as well. They're relying way too much on Nick Chubb. I'm worried about the Texans, but hopefully he comes back because I like CJ Stroud.
All right, Chris, let's go up to you. You have already died once. You were on to Chris 2. We're going to keep track of you that way during the Survivor game, kind of like the Simpsons do with Snowball. 1, 2, 3, up to, I'm not even sure what number they're up to these days, or if Snowball's even still around. It's been years since I've watched the Simpsons. But Chris, your new life Survivor pick.
I'm going to pick a team that's playing at home. They got a win last week, and now they play a team that I don't think is very good. I'm going to take the Cardinals over Carolina. It's still early in the season. Black Ops 7 hasn't came out yet, so I think Kyler Murray's still got some good plays left in him.
I agree with you. The Panthers don't look like a very good
really
team.
bad.
We could be we could have been a little too excited about Bryce Young and some games that really didn't matter so much for the Panthers at the end of the year last year. There, Jimmy. We went to you for your reaction to Williams' pick, but I didn't even let you make your survivor pick. Jimmy, what are you going to do?
I'm going back and forth here because this other team looked really good. It's going against everything the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to go Bills over Jets. I think that'll be my survivor pick. I think the Bills are just too good. Fields looked really great. Loved me some Jets, but I think the Bills win.
All right. Well, you guys are helping me out here. I thought maybe I was going to have to join someone else in this pick. This to me is the biggest layup on the board. The Ravens coming off of a loss
Lions.
to the Bills. There's just no chance that the Ravens are going to lose to the Browns. And watch me be out after week 2 now because of saying this. But I don't think a Browns team that could only manage 13 points versus the horrid Cincinnati Bengals defense is going to be able to beat this Ravens offense. It's going to go out there and score some points because I think Cleveland's D is a little bit better than I probably want to give it credit for. It's the best unit on their team, but I still think this Ravens team is going to come out and be angry and win. And I just don't see the Ravens going 0-2 after a loss to the Browns. So give me the Ravens as my survivor pick week 2.
Yeah, remember the Ravens last year in week 2 lost at home to the Raiders. But I like the Ravens to bounce back here.
All right, there you have it, folks. Williams picks against the spread on the board. Our survivor picks on the board. Jimmy's heel and face of the week revealed. Chris's inaugural Leatherhead squad. We gave you all that. Come back. See us next week. Not at this same time. We will be coming at you on Thursday evenings now throughout the NFL season. It gives our guy Williams, our handicapper, a little more time to crunch the numbers, a little more time to lean one way, because I know Williams pretty well, folks. If we come back next week and his 2 picks against the spread were not very good, he's going to talk about how he had to make them on Tuesday and didn't have enough time to crunch the numbers. So we are not going to put him through that the rest of the season. We'll be joining you next Thursday, sometime between 8:30 and 9:30, probably, right, Jimmy? We always have to be a little flexible, but sometime right around there.
Yep. We'll be live. Let's go.
All right. Williams, thank you so very much. And Chris, I believe the final word goes to you before we talk some wrestling.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Goodbye, Internet. Hello, Internet. The Morgan you know.
All right, welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the Morgan Knows Podcast Network. In the ring with Jimmy, Chris, and Rod. And gentlemen, here's the thing. Sometimes in wrestling, you want to get heat and you want to make people mad because you want to see them be happy eventually. And then sometimes you just want to be happy. And on Friday night, a lot of happiness happened. We had John Cena's final SmackDown ever. And who did he wrestle? He wrestled Sami Zayn, someone who he brought up in a U.S. challenge and kind of started his WWE career. So it's kind of a cool bookend. But then we got AJ Lee back and had the biggest pop I've heard in a very long time. It was just such a great moment. I enjoyed it tremendously. And this is coming from someone who's watched it for a very, very long time. I loved it. I thought it was terrific. AJ Lee looks like she just, with 10 years ago, was yesterday to her. She actually looks in better shape than she was back then. I was excited about the entire show on Friday. Chris, give me an old man take.
I didn't know who AJ Lee was until you told me last week. So far, I'm impressed, except for her choice in partners.
Well, she did a good job on Raw of kind of going over who she was for people like you.
Yes, she did. And that's why I say, like, I want to be a fan so bad, but the fact that she is getting introduced to me as a partner of her traitorous, I can't stand Phil. So that's what holds me back from wanting to root for her. But right now, I do say I like her more than Becky. I'm enjoying her more than Becky, but I can't get there because of who she chooses to spend her time with.
Okay. All right, Rod. That was a very personal, and I appreciate you, Chris, being thoughtful and honest and personal on that. Rod, what are your thoughts on the entire AJ Lee coming back?
I'm going to start by saying that I understand that for a lot of people, and she made reference to it by saying, "Ask your parents who I am,
Yeah,
or your
that was
Gen or
awesome.
something." You know what I mean.
Millennial
Like, so she
parents.
made reference to that, and I was not around for her time, so that was not going to be the feels and the pop that I was going to get. I don't see what all the fuss is about, Jimmy. I don't. I really. I don't see what all the fuss is about. She's not. I'm not. I'm not excited for this match. I love Becky Lynch. I call her basically an already goated legend, future Hall of Famer. We know my feelings about Seth Rollins. We know that I've recently come around the bend on CM Punk, but I'm not excited about this match. I don't like mixed tag team matches. I don't I don't like the fact that we cut a promo where CM Punk mentions maybe I'll get my friend Rhea Ripley. And Becky looks at CM Punk and says, "Oh, whatever. I can dispatch Rhea Ripley." And then he says, AJ Lee comes out and she's this little pixie, this little sprite who's no bigger than Becky Lynch. And Becky Lynch is terrified of her, but she's going to dispatch with Rhea Ripley, the eradicator who's made waste to the entire roster. Like, I am all for nostalgia. It's basically the reason, and we talk about some of the things we talk about on this very podcast and network, but I don't see it, Jimmy. I don't see it. I'm going to have to see her wrestle. I'm willing to say that I haven't seen her wrestle yet, but I don't like it. I'm not excited for this.
Okay, so I knew you were going to go that way for whatever reason. I do think Becky Lynch has done a terrific job as this heel in the past couple of weeks because she's wanted to be a heel. People really weren't buying it. Now I think it's really kind of going where it needs to go. The facial expression when AJ Lee came out, both her and Rollins were like, "Okay, guys, come on." Everyone, they were chanting her name. There were signs. People knew she was coming. You knew she was coming. Don't give me that stuff, for sure. AJ, if you want to talk about AJ Lee, talk about Nikki Bella a little bit as well, where she was the start of this new generation, and AJ Lee was someone who came in and was a very good wrestler and had a very good crazy character. She had everything: character, wrestler, in-ring work. Everything was terrific. And then after CM Punk's situation happened with the WWE, it was not the WrestleMania after that Royal Rumble, but it was a year later that she had her last matchup, and she just was kind of done. It probably needed to be because her husband's suing the company, and then went off and did things on her own. And this was the perfect time to bring it back. The last mixed tag that we had that was of any significance, if you'll remember, was at WrestleMania when Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle went against Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. And no
How
one knew
dare
how
you, Jimmy? How dare you? How dare you just gloss over Miz and Mrs. Miz versus Edge and Beth Phoenix? How dare you?
I said of any significance. And no one knew how good Ronda Rousey was going to be or how good that match was going to be. And in like 5 seconds, it was the greatest, it was one of the best matches on the show. She did a terrific job. You're going to see a lot of that, I think, in 2 weeks as well. Becky's going to sell the hell out of it. And the pop for her is going to be amazing. I wish I could be there. I can't bring myself to do it. I can't, I can't on principle. I think it's going to be a really fun match, and I think that's going to close the show.
What? They're going to close the show with that mixed tag team match? I mean, I guess Seth is the champ, so, I've got that's great. Let's give the champ his respect, but okay,
I think
Jimmy,
Brock
listen,
and Cena
I'm
is going
willing
to
be
quick.
open. No, a Brock Lesnar match is going to be
I'm just
fast.
saying.
I'm shocked to hear that.
Listen, I'm just throwing it out there. That's what I think.
You're going way out on a limb there, Jim. Also, in Cena probably needs a quick match after something that he's worked, because that Sammy match was way better than it deserved to be.
Yeah, that Sammy match was great, but you know what was going to happen at the end, and that's we talk about the roll up or the backslide plague that's over the WWE right now. Let's get just a couple of matches on each show that aren't ending in a disqualification or run in or something like that. Can we do that, Chris, please?
I think you've been hearing me call for that for a while, right?
Yeah.
It's why my guy LA Knight brings it up again to Jimmy, right? They interfered with his title matches in the past. Why would he want them to help? He wouldn't. And you see what happens.
See, that's the thing, man, with LA Knight right now, Jimmy. Like, so we have one champ who's gone, right? And listen, I understand real life. He's filming a movie. His wife just had a baby, right? There's plenty of reasons for Cody Rhodes to be gone right now. I understand that. But one
Sure.
champ is gone and off TV. Another champ is fighting with his wife against another guy and his wife. And then you have this whole Jimmy, Jay,
Yeah.
Bronson, Braun, LA Knight. Like, it's just, I don't, where are we going?
The LA Knight thing with Jimmy and Jay was weird to me because you do not want to have Jay go heel. You do not want that to happen. No one's going to be more over than the Yeet thing. He can literally do the Yeet thing for the next 10 years and be fine. Okay? Do not let him go heel. LA Knight you don't want LA Knight to go heel either because he's over. It just kind of shows you
But
where
we
they
need
think
LA Knight to
is.
go heel, Jimmy.
I
We
think
need
they do
LA Knight
too,
to go
but
heel.
I don't
I
think
sent
they're
you
going
guys
to.
that clip reel.
Yeah,
all LA Knight has done since WrestleMania has just been getting pounded. He's just been getting thrown into ring posts, thrown through desk tables, getting beat down, tsunamied left and right. Like, things are not going great for LA Knight, Chris. I feel like we should do a check-in on you up there because, like, Drew McIntyre, things have kind of cooled down for him a little bit. LA Knight just comes out on TV to get worn out. Like, where are we at, Chris?
I mean, listen, all you did was name two guys that are the future champions of the world. All right, Drew's about ready to take on Cody here soon, and LA Knight's going to get his chance with Seth here in just another month or two. All right, it's not that far off. These guys know what they want. They're taking on what they need to take on, and they're taking a piece of these guys with them. So they're going to get their turn.
Triple H was on Pat McAfee today, along with Tyrese Halliburton, which I thought was kind of neat. But he did mention a spoiler that Cody Rhodes will be defending his title at WrestlePalooza. And I love the fact that Mackie was like, WrestlePalooza is the best name we could come up with. I mean, is that it? But it'll probably be against Drew McIntyre because he and Orton are facing off on SmackDown. By the way, just as an aside, Triple H gave a talk today at a conference my sister was at in Indianapolis. So that was kind of fun.
How about that? Triple H also going to appear on Kill Tony. That was dropped.
Yes. So there were a couple matches that I thought were going to be really good of people that I wanted to see that really didn't live up to it. Damian Priest and Aleister Black I thought was kind of just there. And it's two guys that I want to see a little bit more out of them, Rod. What were your thoughts on that one?
I like Aleister Black's idea, right? Like, I like the general themes that are behind the character we're trying to tell with Aleister Black. It's one of the ways that we can differentiate somebody in the current modern wrestling landscape. You know what I mean? Like, you can't have a guy come down dressed as a dentist anymore, or a guy come down dressed as a clown. You know what I mean? Like, the only way that a guy can really be a character is like, oh, I'm macabre, or like, oh, I'm into the dark arts, or, you know what I mean? Like, that's really the only way that you could sort of like play up a character, right? So like all of the ingredients that we're cooking up in the gumbo that is Aleister Black is there, right? He's got the multicolored eyes, he's got all the tattoos, he knows all the karate and the taekwondo and all that stuff. So it's like, you're like, okay, it's there. And then Damian Priest is a whole lot of the same thing. Damian Priest is tall. Damian Priest is big shoulders. You know what I mean? Damian Priest got the leather going on. He's pretty good behind a microphone. He can be funny at times when he wants to, but it's never really there. It's never really there for Damian Priest, and Aleister Black's going to go nowhere because it's basically what we talked about last week, Jimmy. We only got room to tell stories with like 6 or 7 guys, and there's just no chance that Damian Priest or Aleister Black's ever going to crack into that. So they're going to have to make the most of matches like this, and they tried, but you're right. They just didn't get there.
Chris, do you do a tag team with these guys together? I don't know. Throwing that out there.
I mean, you could. I'd probably dig it. I think they'd probably work well together. But like, I think this is a perfect opportunity to bring up the fact that, we really haven't seen a lot of use of, I mean, Dom's doing great work, don't get me wrong, but we need to start seeing these mid-card titles starting to move a little bit more. Have them be showcased on these weekly shows a little bit more, right? Because if we're going to keep getting husband, wife, swinger action in the ring, then we're going to have more belts, and this what these mid-card belts are for. Let's see more of that going on, and then you can have some more storylines with with the Rusevs and the Aleister Blacks, right?
I think Chris, instead of Raw on Netflix, he clicked on Hunting Wives by mistake. You need to maybe look at that a little bit, Chris.
Swingers in the ring. That's good stuff there.
You know,
I
and you
will say
brought
this though, Jimmy. What I
Go
like
ahead.
about Aleister Black, last point before we move on from him.
Yeah.
We need a guy like Aleister Black, all right? Because too many guys, and I love all the guys, right,
Mhm.
are bombastic, right? Seth is always screaming at you, and he's big and over the top. Jay screaming yeet at you, you know what I mean? LA Knight's always screaming at you. Drew McIntyre's always screaming at you, right? But Aleister Black comes in and he gives you a little bit of that Jake the Snake Roberts energy, if I can, Jimmy, right? To pull back from a huge Hall of Famer. But that's what was great about Jake. When Macho was doing everything that Macho was doing, and we love Macho for doing it. And when Hogan was yelling at you, Jake was, Randy, when we get in the ring, pain. You know what I mean? And like Aleister Black brings that same kind of energy. So I dig that. I want to see things out of him, Jimmy, but I don't know.
Is this the new Karrion Kross?
See, even Karrion Kross was yelling at you.
Yeah. And your dog is yelling as well. Chris, you brought up Rusev, and Penta had a match that I was looking forward to. I thought that was what's going on. Obviously, it had to end in a schmaz. I mean, no question about that. Didn't really live up to my expectation. It wasn't that long. As far as they want him to, I just don't think they want him to go that far, Chris.
Yeah, no. Because I enjoy watching him work in the ring, all right? It's exciting. Most of the time, it is a well-executed, above-average match, but I don't know where you go with these guys, right? If we're not going to have more, I mean, these guys are perfect for the U.S. title, right? Why aren't we fighting for that more? I mean, Penta was in the mix for a while for a U.S. title. Let's get it back into. We should have enough. You know, I'm going to call for it. A bracket, a tournament.
Yes.
Let's get that back going. We need
You
that in
had-
multiple divisions right now.
Chris Bingo this week is on fire, Jimmy. He got his
Yeah.
mention of Dominic Mysterio already. He just got worked in and mention of a tournament. You know what I mean? He got some Drew McIntyre's going to win the championship belt in there. I mean, like Chris Bingo is just on fire this week.
And then we have AJ Styles, which for the non-American audiences, they got an interesting promo from him. Have you guys heard about this?
I did see this on Twitter, Jimmy. I did see this, and I wondered when it was cut. I was like, did this come from Raw on Monday? But no, apparently it did not.
So on Netflix in the international markets, they don't go to commercial. They have like a promo for like WrestlePalooza or something, or they'll just have someone come out and cut a promo. AJ Styles cuts a promo saying, no one wants me here. You know, my contract's going to be up in February, I think, which I think is legit. Or he might have already resigned. Who the hell knows, right? Whatever. You know, Gallows and Anderson are gone. Meechin's on SmackDown. People don't want me here. Listen, anything that gets AJ Styles a good story, I'm up for. AJ Styles is one of the best wrestlers in the world. He doesn't have that long left. I want to see him get back up to that main event status. So let's go, AJ. I'm all for it, Rod.
Could not agree with you more, my man, Jimmy. I will join you in the AJ Styles fan club. I will help you start a fan organized committee that hits the streets with signs and petitions to get AJ Styles a TV match. I am all for it. But I just shout out to Meechin there. Jimmy, did they go back further than I realized? Like I thought that Meechin was kind of just thrown in with those guys, but did she go back further with them than I realized?
I'm not sure. It might have been just because they were in that group together. I mean, she's been around forever. You know, Keith Lee's wife.
I mean, Meechin's great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Shout out to Meechin though for SmackDown too. By the way, good.
Speaking of
championship
tag
match.
teams, that's what AJ Styles needs to do. He needs to get a tag team partner, and it needs to be
Dragon Lee, perhaps.
our Truth, and they can be the Phenomenal Truth.
R-Truth's like 57. Clearly, they're not going to have him wrestle any matches, Chris, because they just keep having him do the same thing in the back. Rey Mysterio's still around, too. Like, are we going to do anything with Rey Mysterio? Because, I mean, if you're talking about AJ Styles running out of time, it's not like Rey's got a bunch of time left, right? And his kid's absolutely hot right now. Are we going to do anything with Rey? See, Chris, look what you got me doing. You infected me with your Dominic Mysterio poison. I just literally brought
Well,
up Dominic Mysterio
listen,
unprompted.
I will die on this hill. There will be a mask versus hair match at some point at a WrestleMania between
Jimmy
those two.
Bingo.
And that'll be
Yep.
the last match for Rey Mysterio. That'll be
Jimmy,
his
that's
retirement match.
one of your, like, because a lot of your other stalking horses you already made happen, right? Like you wanted
Yeah.
Pete Dunne to change his name. You
Yep,
got
done.
that. You know what I mean? You wanted to get Ciampa and Gargano back together. That was another
Done.
one that you were on forever. You got that done. You haven't mentioned that you want Gunther to go back to Walter in a while. So I mean, that
Yeah,
one
it's
should come out
over.
for the,
Yeah, it's fine.
He wanted Cody to finish his story, and he got
Cody
that
finished
done.
his story.
Yeah. So Jimmy,
For
like
sure.
you should put more stuff on your bingo card. What I'm trying to say here, Jim, is that when you manifest something, it tends to happen. Maybe not as timely as you would like, but
it'll happen. It'll happen for sure. So Io Sky and Stephanie McCurry were supposed to have a contract signing.
What's up with that?
I don't know. It could have been a visa thing, or she couldn't get back in just for whatever. It could be a sickness thing. It could be a flight canceled or delayed or whatever. But Triple H today seemed to think it's going to be okay for Indy next week. So hopefully that works.
I mean, I'm excited
It
for.
better not be Nikki Bella and Io Sky. I'm sorry.
No, it cannot be. I'm excited for the story that they are telling a little bit here with Io and Kyrie and Asuka, right?
Yep.
But I kind of almost want to see it. And the shout out to, I can't remember what account it was on Twitter today, but I kind of want to see it end the way that Sammy ended in the Bloodline, right? Where Asuka essentially takes the Roman Reigns role, where she's like yelling at Io to try to take somebody out, probably Rhea tied up in the ropes, the way that Kevin Owens was, right? And Io takes the chair and bashes Asuka, right? And then Kyrie is left to be standing off the way that the Usos were when they were completely shocked that Sammy finally did it. I think I want to see it end that way, Jim.
Asuka's awesome. I'm number one Asuka fan, and she's just terrific. And I think she and Rhea Ripley, are you kidding me? That will be a matchup.
See, so I'm excited for that's where we're headed with them. I'm a little bummed out that we seem to have lost our way with Charlotte and Alexa a little bit, right?
Charlotte's hurt though.
Is that what it is again?
I think she's actually hurt. Like, not like years.
See, I hate when we have to. Again, this is another one of your bingo card things, but you're usually right on this one too, Jimmy. See, that now I'm mad at you for being right about putting things on your bingo card.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It sucks because it's not like I like it. I love their gimmick together is fantastic. I want to see more of it, but
it can't be that serious because she's still making appearances on TV.
Correct. Yeah, you want to keep her on TV, but she hasn't been in the ring.
Yeah, that just bums me out. But I love what you said there, Jimmy, about AJ needs more. But going back to what Chris said, and you mentioned too, a tag team, like I don't know that we need to bring another tag team into the mix because, quite frankly, right now we actually have a little bit of tag team action. We kind of are telling a story with the tag teams that work. I don't know that we need to throw those guys into that mix, but I don't want to cheapen it for AJ, right? Like, let Dragon Lee come up on his own. AJ doesn't need to help anybody out right now. AJ needs to be selfish.
Well, and this Grande Americano thing was supposed to not last long at all, and they're just going to keep it going until Gable gets back.
Fabulous.
So
it's fabulous.
It's working. I mean, you have Pete Dunne.
When they had the three, Jimmy, I was like, I started seeing possibilities here. Like, let's have El Grande Americano be in War Games. Like, all five of them.
El Grande Americano first 10 entrants in the Rumble. Why not?
All 30. Let's have all 30 Grande Americano Rumble. It's over in Saudi Arabia anyway. Throw out the rule book. Let's go.
All right, before we go, two things real quick. Lyra and Raquel Rodriguez had a pretty good match. I'm a huge Lyra fan, and I think that was a real good match. So good job for them.
That move she did coming out of the ropes, that was some impressive stuff, man.
Yeah,
like
she's good.
That's like that core strength to pull that off, what she did there to pull herself up like that, to act like she was getting the leverage back on her. That was ridiculous.
And Roxanne Perez is good. Listen, we have so much really, really good talent in the women's division right now. It's terrific. They can do more than one Evolution pay-per-view a year. They really can.
You just said that, Jimmy, and Rhea Ripley hasn't really wrestled on TV in a couple weeks. And you just said that. That speaks to the women's roster right there. And we just said Charlotte Flair hasn't wrestled in a little while. And those are two goats.
Yes.
Bailey hasn't even been on TV.
Bailey, which one? I don't know who we're getting.
But it's working for me, man. It is working.
Listen, again, we are a pro Bailey podcast here, and hopefully the body is ready to go, and I think it is. So I'm very excited about that as well. Final thing before we go, Rod, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk for the world title is going to happen.
Mhm.
I've always said it was going to happen at WrestleMania. Can they prolong this feud to WrestleMania, or is this going to be more of a Royal Rumble main event or a December John Cena's last match main event? What's going to happen?
See, that's what you just said right there leads me to believe how they might be able to prolong it, right? You don't want to steal any thunder from Cena near the end here, right?
Correct.
Now, supposedly he's not going to be around in the Rumble, so you're absolutely right that we could, right? We could just cap it off at the Rumble and then start telling another story. I know, I don't want that. But that's the other part here. So I think, Jimmy, we are going to extend it out to WrestleMania because I think that these two guys are good enough. And I think the other thing that the WWE is going to look at here, I don't want to mention it, Jimmy, but the I word injury with both of these guys, right?
Yeah.
Like if we're going to try to tell a story at WrestleMania, we probably better cut their card down a little bit and try to figure out some other ways to prolong the story that don't involve Seth doing a bunch of suicide dives and CM Punk getting out there, you know what I mean, in matches that don't really matter. Because I'm with you. These two dudes locking horns at WrestleMania, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, but CM Punk beating Seth Rollins at WrestleMania for a belt, like that's big time wrestling stuff right there.
That's like night 2 stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it really could be.
And put it. Chris is going to kill us right now, Jimmy, but we can at least we can.
I'm going to end the show before Chris can talk. It's okay.
Yeah, because this will be a huge moment. I mean, this would be like when Cody finished the story. You know what I mean? Like this is wrestling Twitter at its core, right? Is a CM Punk place. And so when he wins WrestleMania night 2 over a guy like Seth Rollins, that's also respected within wrestling Twitter core, it's just, I mean, it's going to be an amazing match.
So, Chris, let me ask it this way. In a feud that has been built up for so long like this, do you think a feud like this can be prolonged to WrestleMania, or do you think that they need to get it done quicker?
No, I think you can prolong it. You have a Paul Heyman led crew with the Visionary. You think there's ever going to be a time where they can't get something prolonged, disqualified instantly, do all kinds of numbers of shady crap to keep it going? And no, I don't think that guarantees Punk the title at all. What it means is you can't trust Paul Heyman. And if you think Punk's going to get his story told, it may end up still being Rollins in some sort of schmoz night 2 ending where Punk gets screwed again.
And with that, you've been listening to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Knows podcasting network. You're in the ring of Jimmy, Chris, and Rod.
Oh, Chris, you're so lucky that Jimmy let you go out on the podcast taking a swipe at CM Punk after all the great stuff we talked about him earlier. That's how we balance things out here.
We don't like Phil. Like, comment, and subscribe. Goodbye, Nat. Yeah.
How dare you? We don't like Phil. I'm sorry. It's your podcast now?
Some guy Phil listening is like, what did I do?
Our one listener who's on live right now, Phil's like, well, fine, screw you guys.
Thanks, Corey.
Phil.